Effective next year, capital gains in Canada will be taxed at a rate higher than ever before. In their financial plan for 2024, the Canadian government has outlined details for higher taxes across the board, including one that will raise the inclusion rate of capital gains to nearly 2/3 of all of your earnings. The result will be one of the highest tax rates on capital gains anywhere in the world. Canada has one of the most intensive tax systems anywhere in the world, with the top income earning bracket paying over half of their earning in taxes. But it looks like even that shockingly high tax rate is not enough for the Canadian government. In the recent 2024 federal budget, the government has detailed a new 67% inclusion rate for capital gains. You see, unlike in the US or other countries where capital gains are taxed separately from personal income, in Canada, the process is a little different. Instead of taxing your gains directly, a portion of those gains is taxed as part of your annual income. So say you made $500,000 in capital gains, according to the current tax rate, 50% of that would be counted as part of your annual earnings. So you'd be paying the federal income tax rate of around 33% on $250,000. After the recent increase, however, instead of that 50% inclusion rate, a whole 2/3 of your earnings will be counted as part of your taxable income. This will apply to all capital gains exceeding $250,000 and will be going into effect in less than 2 months. And that's not all. This law doesn't just apply to investments and bonds, but other things like real estate and even crypto gains are all going to be taxed at a higher rate from now on. All of this comes on the back of Canada raising taxes across the board over the past few decades. To put things into perspective, less than 50 years ago, capital gains weren't even a taxable item in Canada, and starting 2025, the effective capital gains tax rate in most Canadian provinces is going to be well over 35%. Canada has now joined the list of countries with the highest capital gains taxes, along with the US and the UK. Canada is continuing its policy of higher taxes and a lower standard of living. Not only do you have to pay over 50% of your income to the government, but to make matters worse, the government is introducing even more taxes like the recent luxury tax registration, which specifically targets and taxes expensive items like cars and boats. All this is just one of the many reasons why Canada has become unlivable in recent years and why tens of thousands of Canadians are now leaving the country. Just look at the state of the country. In recent years, 3 main changes have made Canada a nightmare to residents. First, we've got the increase in violent crime. Violent crime is at an all-time high and has been going up almost continuously for the last 6 years. Just 2 years ago, Canada experienced its highest homicide rate in more than 3 decades. Things have gotten so bad that even Canada's justice system is failing. With so many crimes being committed, the courts just can't keep up. Then we've got the ongoing drug crisis. Just yesterday, I was reading a study that found that drug-related deaths, places once considered some of the safest in the world, such as Ottawa and Toronto, are now overrun with addicts and homelessness. Just yesterday, I was reading a study that found that drug-related deaths in Canada increased by 592% between 2000 and 2017. Now, believe it or not, these changes aren't the worst thing to happen to Canada. The nail in the coffin for Canada has to be its lack of healthcare. Canada's healthcare system has collapsed to the point where people are waiting for months for emergency checkups. Finally, when they finally get to an appointment, instead of getting treated, the doctor just tells them to commit suicide. This is the sort of news that we're hearing. Things are bad and they're only about to get worse. In fact, hundreds of thousands of Canadians, even Canadian immigrants, are now leaving the country every year. In the past, people from Canada could simply move to one of the other major Western countries, such as the UK or the US. But as I just mentioned, the situation there is the same, if not worse than Canada. The US, for example, just raised its capital gains tax to over 44.6%. And as for the UK, well, they're busy changing 200-year-old laws so they can tax your foreign income too. Every major country in the West is heading in the wrong direction. Now compare this to places like Dubai, where you have zero personal income tax, get access to incredible healthcare services, and have practically zero crime. Becoming a tax resident in Dubai is as simple as obtaining a residency and just waiting over 7 to 10 days and you're a UAE resident. There are other options too, including European destinations such as Malta, Greece, or even Portugal. All of these places have excellent standards of living, universal healthcare, and much lower taxes. If you need help deciding which second residency is right for you, and how you can make a smooth transition from being a Canadian to becoming a global citizen, book a free call using the link below. That was all for this video. Subscribe for more and I'll see you in the next one.